外飛星對眼大對啊！
真係睇嘢清楚啲嘅啦，
對翼啦，冇翼佢點飛啊？
個樣咁怪嘅？
唔係啊，同我差唔多樣啫。
係咯，咁醜樣嘅。哇，你想點啊？
嚇？哦，我檢查緊個性別，呢個係女嚟喎。
有件咁嘅事，一睇就知啦，仲有埋
發哥。
Hi everyone, it's Sid at Cool Moviegram. Hope you're well, hope you're safe. Now today we're going to be reviewing one of the last purchases that I made, which was for Forbidden City Cop. Of course, this is the 1996 Stephen Chow and Vincent Koch directed film, which stars Stephen Chow himself. It was released by 88 Films on Blu-ray in the UK for the first time ever. Never had a DVD release, but I think it did have a VHS release, which was by either Eastern Heroes or Made in Hong Kong. One of them did release it. Yeah, well, okay. First of all, we're going to be going through the plot. The plot of the story is Stephen Chow plays one of the 4 Imperial Guards of China, known as Ling Ling Fat, which is a play on words for 007. He's kind of like a hapless gadget inventor who invents rather good but sometimes not so good inventions. And this kind of like irritates the emperor of the Imperial dynasty, and he's kind of like considered as a lowly inventor. And of course he lives with his wife, played by Karina Lau, and he's kind of also masquerading as a gynecologist. But of course the Jin dynasty is looking to take over, and have sent a double agent, which may cause problems for the dynasty, his reputation, and also his marriage with his loving wife. Well, what I like about this film is that it kind of takes a lot of what was successful about Stephen Chow's films at that time. Bearing in mind, this film came out in 1996, and up until that time, either himself, Stephen Chow, or Jackie Chan, them two were like literally the biggest stars in Hong Kong cinema at the time. Bearing in mind, I mean, Jackie Chan at that time had actually started to kind of try and appeal more to the Western market with films such as Rumble in the Bronx, Mr. Nice Guy, and First Strike and such. They were all kind of like being made at that period. And this film, it was kind of like, it worked on the levels of the fact that it was of course, it's a Stephen Chow kind of like New Year's comedy. And it had, it made quite a lot of money at the box office. And also this film had some amazing gags. One of the standout scenes being, of course, I mean, there's so many. I mean, at the start where like you got these not so handsome so-called heroes having like a duel, and where swordsman having a duel, and then Stephen Chow, kind of like his character, just comes up and like a normal policeman issuing these guys with a fine, saying that I'm going to be actually issuing you shouldn't really be having a duel on top of the Emperor's Palace. And of course, when you get to kind of see what his character is all about, where you have the other 3 Imperial Guards of the Emperor display like different levels or different types of skill in terms of their martial arts. And then he just literally kind of like just does a little forward roll, a roly-poly, and then kind of starts kind of displaying his own kind of inventions that he's kind of invented at that time. And yeah, I mean, this was kind of great. It was kind of a kind of like little stab at like the Bond films, which of course, but this time set in like a kind of imperial China, whereas a previous film of his called From Beijing with Love, which was Stephen Chow's directorial debut, which was a kind of a modern day take spoof of like of the 007 films. And it's kind of great because there's a lot of like Cantonese wordplay, which kind of is it's subtitled pretty well. It's really interesting, and visually the film just looks really great. And again, the one thing that was missing was probably his frequent partner in crime, the late Man Tat. Of course, he wasn't in this film, but he did appear in the following movie which he made, which was God of Cookery, which is probably just as funny, if not even more funnier than Forbidden City Cop. Another one great scene was when all the so-called doctors are actually called in to this festival which is arranged by the Jin dynasty, and they present like a corpse of a extraterrestrial, and you see all these doctors just trying to kind of like do like an autopsy, whereas the first thing that his character does, Ling Ling Fat, does is actually is I'm a gynecologist, I'm going to check the gender of this actual extraterrestrial being. I mean, that scene itself is just these guys trying to kind of put this show on. You see all these so-called qualified doctors that are kind of like trying to show their intelligence to one another without being overly kind of bragging or kind of arrogant about it. Like, oh, I'm a very intelligent, I know what we should do. Oh no, we should do this first and such. And the ending was great. Of course, we have like of course, being that it's a Stephen Chow film, we had Carmen Lee, who's kind of been a regular in a lot of Category 3 films at the time in the 90s, but then the fact that she was able to feature in a Stephen Chow comedy, which was kind of a big deal. And definitely, I mean, this was actually really again a very interesting film, well made, very funny. That's madcap comedy. It's what you would expect from a Stephen Chow film made in the 90s. My rating for this film, I would say, definitely is it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Let's move on to the Blu-ray. What we think of what I thought of the film. Now, of course, 88 films. Again, the packaging, it's amazing. I mean, it's got this kind of like matte feel to the cardboard slipcase that actually covers this first edition print of this film. And of course, the artwork is fantastic by Kung Fu Bob. Again, it kind of like captures the silliness of this movie. It's like the whole feel of the movie is just captured perfectly. And of course, you've got some images at the back, and this is just the same Kung Fu Bob's amazing artwork again. And it's a reversible cover. You have the original Hong Kong theatrical poster artwork, and just alternative images there. And this came with, of course, that's just a picture of Stephen Chow with Carmen Lee. And and then of course we have a few lobby cards. As I did show in the previous film video that I did on the unboxing. You have the lobby cards. There's about a few only. There's another one. This is one of the funniest scenes, the alien autopsy scene. Brilliant. And and they're all double-sided. They have either this image. These are all from like the title sequence, which of course is a riff on the whole 007 kind of title sequence as well, but just a funnier take on it. I mean, it kind of is this. It's great because around about the same time, they'd also made a film called Spy Hard, which was with the late Leslie Nielsen in Hollywood. And that was actually like kind of like a riff on the whole 007 movies. And that was like round about probably before Austin Powers was released. That came out, Spy Hard. And yeah, this is again a poster done by the amazingly talented Kung Fu Bob. I mean, he's absolutely knocking the ball out of the park once again with all of his amazing kind of like efforts in terms of the artwork that he presents with the film. Now, the quality of the movie itself, the film looks incredible. I've never seen this movie in particular, I've never seen it before in such amazing quality. Because prior to this, the only time that I've ever saw this film was off like a VCD with those subtitles which are like just burnt in pure white with I think Chinese and then English text underneath. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but the quality itself was, I've never seen this film in such pristine quality presented by 88 Films over here. I mean, the remaster for this was absolutely incredible. Because I don't think it's like a 2K or a 4K, but definitely this film looks amazing. And yes, and the special features, let's just go through them now. Of course, this is a new HD remaster. You have the Cantonese DTS HD MA mono and stereo options. There's the newly remastered English subtitles, which were pretty good because you get the audio commentary by the Asian film expert Frank Zheng from the New York Asian Film Festival. His commentary kind of breaks down a lot of the Cantonese wordplay, because bearing in mind, Stephen Chow's movies, the comedy is pretty much dialogue based, which is like pretty much a play on words in a lot of the situations. And Frank Zheng, in his commentary, very detailed about the film and about the situational comedy that goes on in the film in terms of the dialogue and also the whole the setting of the story. It's done perfectly. And then we have also another fun commentary by probably my favorite duo, Mike Leader and Arne Venema. I mean, they've always done great commentaries on all of previous the Jackie Chan releases and whatnot. And I think they did one for The Millionaire's Express as well, which was by Eureka. And there's also a behind-the-scenes featurette, which I think was like a TV special for Forbidden City Cop when it was being just before its release in Chinese New Year, where you got to kind of get to see like Stephen Chow, the Vincent Koch, who's also the co-director with him, as well as the other members of cast, just kind of like just answering questions and just having you could tell that whilst they were making this film, they were actually having a great time. And of course, the martial arts coordinator, which was Poon Kin Kwan. I didn't cover this in the segment of what I thought about the film, but Poon Kin Kwan did some pretty good martial arts choreographies. Of course, very kind of like wire work based, and also this kind of like had this kind of fantasy element, which was pretty much very popular at that time in the early to mid 90s. But of course, wire work was kind of dying out at that time. And yeah, of course, you get the original Hong Kong trailer as well. So, I mean, in terms of the bonus footage and the quality of the Blu-ray, I would definitely say it's a 5 out of 5 release from me. My overall rating for this is, I would say, a must buy. It's definitely a 4.5 out of 5, which is kind of like my aggregate in terms of the movie, which is a 4 out of 5, and the Blu-ray, the release is from 88 Films, who again doing amazing work in terms of their releases. Now, of course, there's been talks, they've dropped hints where a possible release of Righting Wrongs, aka Above the Law, which is a 1986 or 85 release film by Corey Yun, starring Yun Bu and Cynthia Rothrock, which is going to be released. They've kind of dropped that, but they're also going to be there's been information along the grapevine that they've also acquired the rights for Tiger Cage Part 1 and 2, which were of course featuring Donnie Yen. Some of his earlier movies, and I'm looking forward to those releases. I love those movies, and the fact that they're getting a Blu-ray release in the UK, definitely that's going to be a must-buy. But yeah, definitely 4 out of 5 overall package, my overall review for this movie and this release. Definitely a must-buy. If you enjoy your Hong Kong cinema, if you enjoyed movies like Shaolin Soccer, Kung Fu Hustle, I would recommend this. Definitely, I mean, one of the gems of Stephen Chow's filmography, especially when he was at the height of his success and fame. A shout out to Ricky at Old AF Reviewers, who invited me onto a live stream, which was, I think, just this weekend just gone, and it was an absolute blast having a conversation with him, as well as Video Tasties. Again, I mean, if you can, please subscribe to these guys. And we had some really, it has actually kind of bumped up my subscribers on YouTube slightly a bit. But then hopefully this is the first of many to come. And yeah, please just, well, if you can, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button and comment. Which other Stephen Chow releases would you like to see from, looks like 88 Films? Or maybe even if Eureka can get the rights for them as well.